Alex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I hear you.
All right, Alex, great to talk to you. It has been some time since we've heard from you. After the win in May and the great win over Glover, and you proposed, you kind of stayed quiet for a while, and then you reemerged last week with the news about your shoulder surgery and all that. Why did you take this long hiatus from the MMA spotlight, if you will?
Well, where should I start? After everything, I just had a break for a couple of weeks, and then I went back to training, and I hurt my shoulder right away.
Wow. So you hurt.
So I was training. I was training, and I hurt my shoulder in a wrestling practice, and I felt it was burning a little bit on my right shoulder, but I didn't. I just went and sit on the sideline. I just watched the sparring finish, and then my coach just told me to let's go to the hospital and check it out. So and probably the collarbone the collarbone wasn't attached to my shoulder anymore, so it was just standing right up.
Wow, that's unbelievable. So you broke your collarbone?
I didn't broke the bone itself. It was just somehow it just let go of my shoulder. So they are connected, and after I got thrown, I was landing on the mat with my shoulder, and it was just ripped apart my collarbone from my shoulder, basically. So they just put a plate, a metal plate in it with three screws, and I had it to about 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow! So you had that. I mean, your fight was in May, so you've had that for like 4 months or so? More?
Yeah, about three. With the plate, I had for 3 months. Exact 3 months.
How much did that hurt?
It was just burning in my shoulder. I had a weird feeling after I got thrown on the wrestling mats. It was just burning, and it was heating, and I felt that I had pain before, a lot of pain before. But if you feel it's burning somewhere on your body, it's serious. So,
yeah.
And I went to the hospital, and they just told me to it's over. we have to operate you.
Okay, and so now you had the plate removed?
Yeah, exactly.
And what is the timeline? Like, how long before you're back to training, back to 100%?
Back to 100%. I give it maybe I give it to end of January, I think, something like that.
So you're on the comeback trail. You've rounded the corner.
Yeah, of course. I just took the plate out, and now I'm back in training. I train 1 to 2 times a day, and I try to I've been doing a lot of rehab, and I'm just going to keep doing that to get the injury itself. It's healed, but I'm a little bit weak in my shoulder. I have to work up my muscles and everything, so I'll get back to normal.
Do you think if this injury didn't happen that you would be fighting for the belt in January, that you'd be next in line?
Well, I don't know. I think so. I'll be pushing for that fight for sure. So I think I'll be there instead of the other guy.
Volkan Ozdemir. Are you impressed? Like, how would you describe what he's done in the past year? A year ago, this time we never even heard of him. Now he's fighting for the belt. Does this come as a shock to you? Did you know who he was? I know he's from nearby Switzerland. What are your thoughts on him?
No, he's good. He's good. He has a lot of power in his hands, and it's not a joke. He's good. So, and after that fight, we fought at the same time in May, and he as soon as he connected with his punches, the guy's he knocks people out. So he's the real deal for sure. But the journey has been very, it's been a very, very fast journey for him. So, and now he's up there and fighting for the title. So, and I think overall the division is kind of weak right now. So
right. They need you back, right?
I'm not surprised. Huh?
The division is weak. It's shallow. They need the Mauler back.
I need to step in.
Yeah. You were very open and honest about Jon Jones after your fight in May. Once you found out what happened and the stripping of the belt, how did you react to that?
I wasn't shocked. I wasn't surprised, and I feel sorry for him. I think it's, what can I say? It's I just feel sorry for him that he's time thing. I mean, like it's new things coming up all the time. So I'm not surprised at all, and I just feel sorry for him. And it's bad for everything. It's bad for the sport. And he's look what he did to DC. He's a beast, and nobody's done what he's done, and he just getting caught for over and over again. So
when you say you feel sorry for him, what do you mean by that? Because, if he's doing this to himself, why do you feel sorry for him?
I mean, like, I don't know. Something it must be something wrong there, right? You just don't do that if you how should I explain it? I just think that he's just taking the wrong decisions all the time, and for that I'm feeling sorry for him, basically.
Would you like to see him not return? Do you want the UFC, without Jon Jones? Are you tired of Jon Jones at this point?
He's, I want him back. I think he should, like, I want another fight of him. I want to fight him at some point in my future career. I just want to fight him one more time, basically. And for that reason, maybe I think I would like for him to come back, but at the same time he's been getting caught for a lot of times, and if he doesn't come back, he doesn't come back. So I just feel like it's sad for the sport and for the whole thing, for the division.
Even if there's a possibility that he's on PEDs, you still want to fight him. Well, a fight is a fight, right? And if he comes back, and he has to be clean. There is no other way. So if he comes back at some point, he's going to be clean for sure. And by the way, I'm not surprised to hear you say that, because Daniel Cormier says the same thing. He says he'd fight him again and again and again, even knowing, what he may be doing behind the scenes. So I appreciate the fact that you say that and you're honest about that. Do you consider Cormier the real champion now? How do you feel about the belt?
Well, he has the belt, so I think it's a DC. I want to fight DC for sure. I want that belt. So, but for me, it's still the real champion is it's Jon Jones, of course, because he's been destroying everybody in the division, and he's what everything he's done is nobody's done before. So for me, he's the real champion, but I accept DC as a champion too. He's a good guy and a good fighter, and the only guy he's lost to is Jon Jones. So he's the real deal, and I think he's champion material.
DC has talked about your fight against him at 192, and he said it was a miserable experience, and he's not too keen on fighting you again. He says this kind of, with a smile. Of course, he would fight you if offered, but you really beat him up. Do you feel the same way about fighting him? Would you prefer in a perfect world? Like, in other words, are you kind of hoping that Volkan wins so that you don't have to fight DC again if you're the next man in line?
I want to fight DC. I want to fight DC for the belt. And,
okay.
I lost him I lost him, so I want to fight him again and get my rematch and take that belt from him, basically. But in my opinion, I think Volkan is a beast. He's a good guy. He's heavy hands, but I don't know if he had the qualities to beat DC.
Have you been told that upon returning, you'll fight the winner of that fight? If Jon is going to be out for quite some time, have you been told that you're next?
No, I don't know nothing yet. And I haven't been too focused on that either. I've just been trying to get him back in training, back to my normal shape, my normal me training. So I haven't been focusing too much on that. But now the plate is gone from my shoulder and I'm back in training. I'm feeling good. I had no pain, nothing. So I'm getting back, and I'm going to start looking at different opportunities and yeah, see what happens.
Have they told you, your doctors, when, at least as of right now, when you could possibly return? Is there a time frame that you have in mind?
Well, a couple of more weeks with basic rehab, and from there, I think I can start. We're looking at starting training MMA for real. Every discipline in the game, with the wrestling part and the submission part, everything else. But right now it's a couple of more weeks. The whole January out, and I'm just gonna do my rehab, and then from there start my training for real.
So maybe like mid next year is a appropriate time frame.
Yeah, maybe spring, early summer, something like that.
Recently, you also signed with a new management team, and I was looking them up. It seems like they represent a lot of non-MMA fighters, tennis players, I think maybe hockey players as well, but definitely outside of the combat sports world. Why did you make this switch at this point in your career?
Well, I had a couple of meetings with them, and they're really good. They're really good, and even if they're not in the game, in my game, they want to learn. They're very they just how can I say this? They're very they're very good at what they're doing with the athletes overall. So we have a good connection, and everything feels very good. So it wasn't much to think about.
This seems like a good step for you in your career, right?
Yeah, it's the right step for me to go with them now. And Sweden is not a big country, so this team here, the management, they're on another level. So it's really good for me, and I'm looking forward to work with them in the future.
Do you have a wedding date planned yet?
No, not yet. We're looking at next summer, something like that. We haven't decided actually a date yet, but we're looking in different possibilities for. Depends where I'm at my career and my training and my fights and so on.
Just a piece of advice: don't go with the long engagement, because then it gets very stressful and everyone wants to give you advice.
The thing is, no, I know. I'm listening to you. I'm at the same.
Yeah.
I think the same. I don't want to be engaged for like 5 to 7 years.
Oh, it's a mess.
So
it's a mess. You just got to get it over with, and then you'll go back to normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you with the shoulder? Are you able to change diapers and things like that, or does your fiance have to do all that now?
Sorry.
With the injured shoulder, were you able to change diapers, or did you get an excuse and your fiance had to do all the changing of the diapers?
Well, I had to blame on my injury for the first couple of weeks.
Yes, but I had a feeling.
I have no choice.
Okay.
I have no choice.
Well, it's good to hear from you again. It's good to hear that you're feeling better and that you're on the comeback trail. And last thing for you, Alex, is it fair to say, like, if in a perfect world, if the UFC says, what do you want to fight the winner of Volkan versus DC, you don't want to fight someone else and then get to the title shot, right? You feel like you've earned it?
I want the title fight. That's, the winner of the Volkan DC fight. I want the winner of that one. It's no fight in between, or I just want to step into the title fight right away. That's my plan. That's what I want.
All right. Well, I hope you get it. Again, great to hear from you, Alex. Hope you feel better soon, and hopefully for your sake, you get that title shot. Thank you for coming on again.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, there he is. Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson. Great to hear from him. And now you know why he was a bit off the grid for quite some time. Interesting to hear him talk about the title and him considering Jon Jones still the champion. But the light heavyweight title will be on the line without Jon Jones on January 20th, DC versus Volkan. We'll hear from DC in a few minutes.